Today, I want to show you how I use this paint. This is called, well, this is made by Winsor Newton. I don't know if you can see the name there, Winsor Newton. Is it upside down? No, I couldn't tell. And you open it and you see inside it's hard paint. It's hard watercolor paint, similar to what you use when you were a child or what you get for your child now. And P.S., that's not bad paint. that little children's paint stuff. You can do some pretty cool stuff. But anyway, I'm going to use this and we're going to paint this. So I'm doing my intro now after I've already done the painting. I was also trying to show him, is it, let me see if I can get it to focus on there. Come on, focus on that thing. There. So that's what we want. That's what I'm going to demonstrate you how I did that landscape. I will tell you, I also used salt. I don't think I needed to. I don't think it added anything. Sometimes it does. For some reason, that I don't think that, who knows? It's on the painting. And then I brushed it off. It gave it a little bit of a texture. But anyway, there's what we're going to work on. And we'll do that right now. All right, so let's begin a watercolor painting. So we've got the water in the cup here. And it's just a solo cup. And I got a brush, got a couple of brushes. I'm not really sure which brushes I'm going to use, but got a few of them. And I got the salt. I mentioned that in the beginning. And I have the watercolor paints. These are not in a tube. These are solid. It's from Winsor Newton, if you can see that on there. And these are very nice. They're sort of like the paints you buy in a children's section of the store. And you want to know something? Those paints in the children's section are pretty good. So, all right, what we want to do is a winter scene. And so I'm going to make a pretty easy one. I'm going to have like the sky kind of, I'm doing a little V there because I want to show a little bit of landscape here of snow, some river, and some more snow. So let's start with the sky. Get some water on the brush. I'm just going to get the paper wet. And the salt is hopefully going to help us with kind of an effect on here. So I'll show you that in a second. So let me just do this. Now let's get some purple or something in there. It's kind of hard to see what color these are, so you have to kind of dab it into the side here. And just kind of work it until you have a color you like. I'm just looking for some kind of a grayish, yeah, it's just a wash. Just something to put down. And again, we're going to mix some of these yellows and some of the gray, some of the reds, just to create that look. We get some reds in there. I'm trying to keep the middle so it's a little bit on the light side, because that's where we're going to have the sunlight coming through. And you can see that yellow. And the one thing about watercolor, as you probably know, is you want the white of the paper to be the white. Now, if you make a mistake and somehow you need white, but you've already covered it, the little trick is to use gouache, because gouache is opaque and you can kind of augment what you've done. Some people call it cheating. I'm not going to call it cheating. I'm going to call it augmenting, because you know what? Ultimately, you have a nice picture. So I don't know if you can tell, but there's the sky already. This is a cheap brush, so some of the hairs are coming off, which is not good, but I'll get them out of there. Now let's put some salt on it. Just a little bit of salt. Let's see what happens. It's kind of an experiment. All right, next I'm going to do the land. I want the river to be here, and I want the land to be kind of like an off purple, purple, or off violet. So I'm going to use another brush. It's a soft brush. Let me get it wet. Let me find one of these colors that looks like it'll be a nice purple. There we go. That's a good one. Okay, so this is going to be our close-up land, and we don't want to cover it completely. We just want to create the illusion of some shadows and some places in the snow that are a little bit shaded. Do it over here too. There we go. That's pretty good. That's all it is, just that little bit. All right, now we're going to take some darker colors. Oh, let's add the salt, because we want the salt while it's wet. I probably waited too long for that. That's okay. This is kind of an experiment. We're gonna see together how this works out. All right, now this brush is a little bit on the stiff side, which that's all I look for. I don't really look for the name or the number. I just look by eyeballing it. I look for the size and I look at how stiff. Sometimes I like a sloppy brush. Sometimes I like a clean. This is a clean one, and I want to use this for some of the darker colors. So let's go ahead and get something dark. Probably this, let's say, that might even be black. So I'm going to kind of mix the black. See, now in normal paint, I don't use black much, but in hard paint like this, it works a little bit better. And I just mixed it anyway with the violet, with the purple. All right, now we don't want to do a straight line. We just want to do a kind of a raggedy, jaggedy line. Raggedy, jaggedy, okay? Go ahead and put some in here. And put some back here. What we're trying to do is creating a landscape. I'm going to give this look. It's amazing how much you can do with one dip into the paint. Over here. There we go. Now let's get some of this colored in a little bit. Let me get it wet. Same with the sky. I'm going to keep this down here white, and I'm going to have to get that wet. But I wanted to get some of these dark colors in there first. And some of these colors in the back. Now, so we have salt back there already, which is kind of cool because hopefully it's going to work. We're going to find out together. Just a little bit dark, just where the snow is very, very shadowed or something. Maybe with some of the grasses popping through in the back there. Okay. Let's get some of this. Let me do some vertical lines. These are going to be trees later on. I just want to put some little hints. All right, let's lighten it up a bit. Get some slightly different color in there. Okay. And you see it's still wet, so it's spreading, and that's okay. That's what I kind of want. Yeah, that's spreading right there. See, those are going to be trees anyway, so we can go ahead and create those trees. Take advantage of the spreading, and let's hope that salt makes it look cool. I don't know. We're learning together. Here we go. There's another vertical line. Go ahead and spread it out a little bit. Make a tree out of that. There we go. That looks nice, right? A couple more. Let me go ahead and spread these out. I think one of the things that I like to do is to be able to see it as it unfolds, as opposed to planning the whole thing out. You know, you plan it a little bit, but I think if you plan it too much, then you don't recognize what Bob Ross used to say, the happy little accidents. You don't recognize them. You think they're mistakes, and then you get frustrated. But sometimes those happy little accidents, it's a great term he came up with. But sometimes, you know, they make the picture what it is. And what I like about the watercolor is it looks light. It doesn't look stark. Okay. There's just a few little hints of things here. Just in the background here. Okay. Now let's go back here. I let that dry. I shouldn't have done that. No problem. I can wet it again. Okay. There we go. A couple of dark areas in here. Okay. I'm going to take some of this dark paint from here and bring it over here. So we have that look here. Okay, let's get some like a muddy color, just a very thin, light color going here, just a little bit. We're kind of conserving that area for the white. So I'm going to kind of try to blend these together. There we go. All right, let me use a different brush now. And I'm going to use this one. That looks good. What I want to do is get some more reds into the sky. So let's see if I can do that. This is almost like a rusty color red. Let me see if I can get that into the lower part of the sky. And then we want to put some of that down here into the water too. Get some more water on it. I just want to get some of that orange, rusty color into the sky there. And we get it down here too. Let me see if this red helps at all. Sometimes red and orange work well together. Usually they do. Some reds. Yeah, that looks good. Especially down here. Now we're going to use that red in the sky to try to create some like translucent trees. Okay. I just mixed it with orange a little bit. With yellow to create an orange look. All right, let me thin it out a lot. All right, now this is the perfect time to add salt. Come on, salt, do your thing. All right. Now, if you could ever get alcohol, rubbing alcohol to work with your watercolors, that's a cool idea. I tried it, and it doesn't seem to work. But I've heard other people say that you can use alcohol. The reason you would use alcohol is to get it to dry quicker. So I'm not using that, but it's an idea worth trying. I think probably the best way to get it to dry quicker is with a hairdryer. I'm not using one, obviously, right now, but I'm just letting it dry naturally. And I got all that salt in there. Let's see if we like it. Now what I want to do Not much more. It's almost done. Just want to get a little brush here. So I'll take this brush. Let me see how smooth it is. Oh, it's kind of stiff, which is good. So I'm going to use that for the tree, the thin trees, the very background trees. Now I got to get the brush wet. I'm not sure which color I want to use for those background trees. I think I'm just going to make a mishmash of colors so that it's kind of muddy. Just these little tiny things. Just keep adding them in there. Let them spread. Let the water spread the color a little bit. Yeah, I like how that red is peeking through. And we're letting the water and the salt kind of work together. Okay, now that's a little bit too stark right there. I'm going to have to fix that. Unless I do something with it. Let me see if I can do something with it. Maybe I can make another foreground tree. Spread it out. Yeah, see, that's what I mean, a happy accident. It wasn't what I wanted, but it's coming out okay. Yeah, they look a little bit more in the foreground, don't they? Make it a little bit taller. Yeah, that's working out nice. That's a perfect example of a happy accident right there. Okay, now this right here needs a bit of spreading out, I think. It's a little bit too much in one tiny area. So, and I think that would serve as a good way to create some shadows there. I'm going to borrow some of this paint and bring it down here. Same here. Just kind of spread it out. And you're working your composition so that you like it. I mean, that's a bottom line. You got to like it. Obviously, if you're doing a watercolor portrait of somebody, you need to be very, very careful about what you put where. Very calculated. Portraits are a different animal. Definitely. Okay, let's go back to the purple. Let's just see if we can. Oh, that's a little too dark. It's got to be watered down more. Okay, let's add some more water over what we've already done because I want to add some more salt to some of these areas. And just let the salt kind of give it that texture and that extra look. And if I could do one more thing, I'll take a big brush that's kind of soft. And let's see what happens if I add a little bit of red to it. Just to see what happens. I'm just curious. Let's see what happens. I'll go over here. Oh, I like that. I like the way that looks. Let me put some of it down here in the water too. Yeah, let me mix in some yellow so we have that orange effect. Yeah, almost like the sky has some clouds that are a little bit different color than the rest of the sky. Now there is a white in this paint set here. I don't know how good it's going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot. Just see if I can add some white. I'm going to make it pretty heavy on the brush. And again, it's working with that salt. I kind of like the way that looks. Kind of like the way it looks. All right. It's got a lot of salt on it. If you eat this thing, it's going to be very salty. And I'm going to say that you probably didn't need the salt. I'm going to say that, but I wanted to experiment. But, once it dries, we'll see what the salt has done. And I think that's our picture. It's not exactly as I had visualized it. I feel like I wanted more purple. I wonder if I could... Which one was the purple? Was it this one? Yeah, it was that one. Let me see if I can add more purple to it. Just a little bit deeper. Get it watered down a bit. Just kind of trying not to cover all the white on the paper. That's one thing I wish I could see. Now, if I was to do the same picture with gouache, I could go over it. And I'm half tempted to try that right now. But I don't think I will. I think I want to keep this purely watercolor. Okay. I guess we'll call it done. Oh, there you go. There's the picture. All right. See you later.